Finance. Sure.
I stare at you until you say go.
I know, it's, you got 30 seconds, but, you know, we'll owe them 30 seconds. It's okay.
Ms. Beck's authorized us to begin. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the May 27th, 2021 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair, also representing District 2. Joining me today is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Aaron Mays, representing District 3. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, Madam Clerk, our first item.
First item is item 1, proclamations, presentations. A, completion of the construction of the Shawnee Stormont Vale Event Center presentation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crouch, Shawnee County Councilor. In November of 2014, Shawnee County voters approved a half-cent sales tax that included several quality of life projects. One big part of those projects was the renovation of the Stormont Vale Event Center, and we are happy to announce the basic completion of those renovations today, and hope that our community will be as proud of it as we are, to have a truly modern entertainment and exhibition facility in our community. Let's see. Starting with the Shawnee County voters, this has been a true team effort. This team included past and certainly you three as members of the commission. Also with Shawnee County, Betty Greiner, our financial administrator, was very important. She did a great job with the timing of the bonding for this project that served us well. Some of our design and construction team members are listed on this slide. I cannot stress enough how well our team worked together. HTK Architects with Chuck Smith, Dennis, Zach Sneathen here. McCown Gordon, our construction manager, Todd Ramsey, and his team. Dean Farrell's knowledge and experience was invaluable to us on this project. Spectra's input, Kellen Seitz and his team from an operational standpoint was crucial to guide us through the renovations. We were fortunate to have a team of professionals and really just good people working together to try to achieve the most that we could for the voters who gave us our trust when they authorized this project. So as I said, we're 99% complete. What does that mean? That means we have some final inspections and some final pieces of the project left. But we want to introduce you and the public to some of the work that's been done over there. I'll turn it over to Zach.
Thank you. I just want to, Zach Sneathen, HTK Architects. I just want to kind of reiterate some of the things that Jim said, and really it was an honor to be able to work on this project and work on a project in your own community and create something that's going to be good for the community. Was a honor to be a part of. Before we get to where we're at today, I wanted to step back and just do a brief history of what this site has been. The imagery that you'll see here is in a new mural that's in the new lobby of the Stormont Avail Events Center. And as we talked early on, we wanted to capture some of that history of what this site has been, what it has been for Topeka and Shawnee County. And so as you walk in the new lobby, this mural will be on the wall, but really captures really back to the early 1900s when this was the Topeka Fairgrounds. Started having horse races there, moved into vehicle races on a dirt track that continued well into the, I believe, the 50s with the racing. As the Topeka Fair, as the state fair started to move to Hutchinson, they renamed this as, and really continued to hold a second state fair in the state, but renamed this as the Kansas Free Fair, and continued to improve the fairgrounds there at 17th and Topeka Boulevard. As we know, the facility that most of us know today, that we've been accustomed to over the last 35 years, started in the early 80s as the Kansas Expo Center. Land and Arena, a large concrete and steel structure, two big white boxes that have sat there for the last 35 years. Incidentally, the design team, HTK, was a part of the design team for that initial project, as well as Dean Farrell. Farrell Construction was the contractor on that. And then moving into today's times, in 2019, through a partnership with, at the time, the Expo Center and Stormont Vail, rebranded as the Stormont Vail Events Center. And as we go to open this new facility in 2021 as the Stormont Vail Events Center, we capture that history of this facility and this site as it sits in the community. Getting to how we got to where we're at today. This really started, what set the stage back in 2011. The county did a study on this facility to identify what those needs from a program standpoint, from a facility standpoint, what they might be. In 2011, there was a study done, and it recommended $60 million in construction dollars for improvements and expansions at the facility. That set for a while, picked back up in 2014 with the then management team of the Expo Center, looking at what are our current needs, knowing that we're continuing to have needs from this facility from just deferred maintenance, but also programmatic needs. So did a workshop to study what some of those needs might be in late 2014. About a year later, came to the JADO organization and presented some options for making improvements to the facility. And those entailed about $25 million to $51 million in construction costs. They looked at expansion of the exhibition hall, the flat floor space, upgrades to the arena, upgrades to the barns, the concession stands, looking at that pre-function space before you go into the arena or the exhibit hall, looking at the vertical circulation, the big staircase on the sides of the building, how can those be improved, as well as seating and other upgrades in those arenas. So those were all a lot of the features that were captured and presented to JADO in late 2015. recognizing that work needed to be done. Recognizing the work needed to be done, in early 2016, the county issued an RFQ for planning and design to implement whatever those improvements were determined to be. Through that RFQ process, at the time, the management staff and county staff toured several facilities, similar facilities throughout the Midwest, looking at what are other facilities doing, what have other facilities, how have they upgraded to be modern arenas. And then in early 2017, a contract, HDK Architects was selected to lead that design and planning and design process. And it really started out with developing, kind of revisiting that 2011 facilities master plan, but understanding through market studies, a market research study that said what is appropriate and what is financially appropriately to develop and enhance for the Expo Center. To then come to, as Jim mentioned, in early 2018, JADO approving $45 million, a total project cost, not construction costs. All the other ones were construction costs. This was a $45 million for total project improvements at the Expo Center. As we continued through planning and design efforts following that setting of that budget, in late 2018, contract for construction for a construction manager was awarded to McCown Gordon, and that was about 60% completion of our design documents. From then on, the design team and the construction team really worked hand in hand to get to establishing that guaranteed maximum price of just under $34 million in construction dollars for the project. And as we move forward towards construction for a groundbreaking ceremony just about this time 2 years ago. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Todd to step us through the construction activities that happened during construction. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Todd Ramsey, McCown Gordon Construction. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity to kind of give you an update from this finalizing this great project that we had. What I'd like to do is just kind of give you a quick timeline of construction, some milestones that we did throughout construction. Like Zach said, we started in May of 19. We really listened to the kind of specter of the county, kind of what some of the important needs were right off the bat to give a bang for the buck for the community and to show them kind of some things right off the bat. So in September and October, that fall, we finished. We knew that the seating replacement was a big need and ask, and also the end zone bar, where the Spectre has their biggest event of the year in November, and we really wanted to get that open for them to generate additional revenue. So those were great milestones that we were able to get for the county and for Spectre to be ready for those large events starting at that time. Moving over into also still the Landon Arena, we also completed that winter all new scoreboards, video scoreboards, ribbon boards, sound system. I think everybody, if you have not had a chance yet, I know it's times have been really difficult, but if you do, I would highly recommend to go out there. It's a state-of-the-art video board, ribbon board, sound system. Believe me, you will be literally blown away. It's very, very nice. So then we move over to Expo Hall. Of course, we blew out the back end of that building and added roughly about another 30,000 square feet to give more Expo exhibition space. And we literally shoehorned that building in within 3 buildings between the existing building, the hotel, and the hotel link. So that was a unique challenge, but it went pretty seamlessly, and we got that done actually back the past August. We were able to open that they had a large dog show event for that, to able to use that and occupy that. And as you can see now, it's been used for vaccination stations for right now. So also all new concessions and restrooms on the east side there, as you see over to the right there. And then, of course, we get to the main addition to Landon Arena. That was literally, I'm sure you all have seen, we literally blew out the front end of the main entrance, so they did not have a front entrance for over a year. And literally, as you can see now, this was the project right here, and it turned out nice. Literally 2 years ago, we said we'd be done, and we had it turned over and be ready to go. So it's a very nice, open, inviting space to get in, to congregate, and easier to get up into the concourse areas. So, and then how do I start
You
that?
just hit.
Good. So this just shows you a quick time lapse of the interior construction. It gives you a really good idea, kind of showing you throughout the concourse areas, suites, end zone area being built on the far end. Just kind of gives you, show you orchestrating throughout all the events we worked around and helped Spectre with, and just showing you some of the construction and throughout. So it's pretty neat, the snapshot of the timeline, what we did as we worked throughout that. See a lot of the equipment choreographing through to get all the scoreboards and all the new lighting system up throughout the arena. Also, we put all new lighting throughout Expo Hall through that also. I think it's about to. Okay. Then the last one I want to show you is just this really paints a very, very neat picture of the building addition. As you see, we started to show you really kind of how this project transformed. This is probably where a lot of the public got to see, as you drive by, what literally we worked with. Definitely looks different from what it started out to, and that was the purpose. I mean, that was the purpose, to get on-grade access and to even enhance the experience even better.
And it was really, it tied two buildings together with a
Correct.
third building, and rerouting electrical and utilities through there. And but as you walk in, it's really seamlessly tied together. Really now those three structures.
You'll also see, of course, the existing building was white. You'll see the panels, all the new gray metal wall panels going up on both the existing buildings. So you'll see how that kind of transformed and really tied the new and the existing buildings together as we went through the seasons also. There's the sign going up. And that's it. So thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was quick. I'll just briefly talk about the next two slides. So we wanted to run through the overall numbers. As indicated, the original contract guaranteed maximum price was $33,941,000. We ended up with $1.85 million in owner contingency. What that really allowed us to do with the approval of U3 was to add scope, and that final contract price ended up being $35,735,383. We've got a little bit remaining in contingency. As I said, we've got some final inspections and some things to go through, so we wanted to make sure we had plenty to cover that. So what's some of the added scope? And number one on the list sounds like a small thing, new flooring in the restrooms. I can tell you that when we originally remodeled the restrooms according to the plan and we were done with it, we were not satisfied with with the look. It just didn't look remodeled. So we added new flooring. I think that made a huge difference. We added additional RV hookups, which not only helps with the exhibitors and the users, it enhances the experience. One of the biggest, I think, things that we added was the additional wireless access points to expand wireless throughout the facility. And it's not just at a minimum amount, at a robust amount. We've added wireless throughout Landon Arena and Exhibition Hall. And really, this was one of the first add alternates to the project, so we really worked hard to try to get this into the project. Internet and wireless internet access is really part of the infrastructure of modern facilities, and that allowed us to do many new things that will enhance user experience throughout the facility in terms of wireless ticketing, being able to order from the concession stand on your smartphone. I think there's going to be a lot of neat details that come along with that users and citizens are going to really enjoy. Additional ceiling replacement in Expo Hall, and then one big piece of the additional scope was to go ahead and replace the chillers. Not only does that mean we have new chillers, but they're much more efficient, along with new LED lights, the new boiler system that was put in. We've got a new, more modern-looking facility with a modern feel, but we also have a much more energy-efficient facility that's going to reap dividends for taxpayers for years to come. Thank you.
And as Kellen comes up, we'll just let this play, just some video footage of the facility inside and out. If you've not had a chance to get over there and see it yet, but this was shot about a week ago. But here's a picture of what the facility, what's in there.
All right. So now to the fun part. What's this all mean, right? I think what we are most excited about through the renovation project, in conjunction with some additional funding that we were able to get from the CARES Act package, is more innovative patron-centric technologies throughout the facility. We focused a lot as we worked through the pandemic on the renovation, but also as we look to come out of that, how we interact, how we engage with customers, how patrons engage with the events that they're attending at our facilities, and how do we make that more user-friendly? How do we make that safer? How do we enhance those technologies and capabilities for them to make their overall experience better for any event that they're attending at our facility? I think the big thing is the wireless access points, and I know Jim stressed on it, but we can't stress it enough. You know, that system, that Wi-Fi system has the capacity to host about 20,000 users at any given time on that Wi-Fi system at full bandwidth potential. So if you can imagine, our capacities don't hit 20,000, right? So we should have enough bandwidth capacity for everybody to do anything that they would want to do on their smartphone at a facility. So that includes, you know, your Snapchats and your Instagram posts while you're at events. That includes your mobile food and beverage ordering from your seat that you can either go to pick up at the concession stands, or if you're in a premium seating location, those food options and beverage options are delivered directly to your seat from our staff. So those items are huge to accompany the bandwidth of that Wi-Fi infrastructure. The patron self-scanning ticket pedestals for when they're entering into the facility, our walk-through metal detection systems, our full-service parking infrastructure where they can pre-purchase parking and or purchase parking when they're coming to events, cashless and touchless on those systems. So those are a lot of the things that bring some of those advanced amenities to our facility. The experiences kind of ties directly into that, right? The more amenities, more experiences that you can have while you're attending the events. A lot of it is focused around the fourth bullet point there, which is sponsorship, activation, and engagement. We've worked very closely with a lot of our partners to create engagement spaces in the facility. Things that are going to be going into the facility include things like a putting green, which will be sponsored by Topeka Country Club, where patrons will have the opportunity to putt for prizes and or food and beverage items or free rounds of golf, or a lot of those fun things. We're still in communication with Sky Zone about an engagement activation center in the lobby area, which would include something like a ropes course or a climbing wall. So really creating an experience around the event that you're coming to attend. The live event content has been a focus for us throughout not only our contract with the facility, but certainly how do we go and solicit more live event content as we look to come out of the renovation project and as we look to come out of the pandemic. One thing that we've seen is with all of the upgrades and with all of the additional renovations, we have been able to solicit and get a lot of attraction from some high caliber artists, from some high profile agencies and artist management groups around the country. Those conversations hadn't been had in quite some time. The facility was a bit tired. It didn't have the amenities and the infrastructure needed to support some of those larger caliber acts. But adding in those additional restrooms, additional performance rooms, adding in the Jumbotron and the upgraded sound system and the LED lighting system has really allowed us to not only add additional infrastructure to those events, but entice them to come back to Topeka and Shawnee County. We've been very happy and fortunate that we were able to book and announce our grand reopening concert with Hank Williams Jr. I'm happy to say that is selling phenomenally well. We're over 30% capacity sold to date, with just being on sale less than a week. So we're moving those tickets out the door on a pretty rapid level. What that looks like moving forward are some of the events that we have on sale right now for the event, or for the facility. So that's Hank Williams Jr. coming July 10th. Baby Shark, which is just around the corner, coming up in a couple weeks. Casting Crowns, which is a reschedule for the third time through the pandemic, now coming on October the 3rd. A couple of our largest events of the year, as Todd alluded to, are Demolition Derbies. The Blizzard Bash is coming back in November. Mannheim Steamroller is coming in December. And on the slide, we have 3 upcoming events that we haven't announced yet. They kind of give you an allusion to what those events are going to be. We should have added a 4th because we just contracted another one since this slide was built, but we have a couple more concerts that we're getting ready to announce. One of them we'll announce on June the 7th, and a couple other pieces of live entertainment content for the facility. What that is looking like and shaping out to be is kind of a banner year for 2021. If you think about it from a live entertainment perspective, in 21, we're going to have more live events than we did in 2018 and the 2019 year, not combined, but each year individual, in about a half a year season for 2021. So the excitement is out there from event producers, promoters, and certainly from the general public as we watch the ticket sales for the events that we currently have on sale, and then bringing those additional events and additional opportunities to our community coming later this year. So we couldn't be more excited about what the renovation has done for us to be able to solicit those types of event content pieces into the community, and we're looking forward to what's to come.
So with that, we just want to say thanks for letting us be a part of this project, and it's an exciting project, and it's great to see it in the community and get people out to start experiencing the live shows, the trade shows, just all the activity that will be around.
Commissioners, questions, comments? Commissioner
Quite a
Ripley?
project.
Yes.
And, it's good to see it come to a close. If there was anything good about the coronavirus, it allowed construction to go on unimpeded for a number of months, and I think it's a great project. I've walked through it several times in the last couple of weeks, and it's really starting to look good. Seems like it's that last 5% you do that makes 90% of the difference. You know, that's when it really starts to look good. And so I'd like to thank everybody involved, architects. Dean, I see you back here. And thanks for all your work and expertise. But good job, everybody.
Commissioner Mays?
Yeah, the facility's beautiful. It really is. And, you know, once the landscaping and everything gets done and final, I think it's going to look fantastic. You know, a couple things you did not show on there that are also very impressive. The new concessions areas on the concourse are pretty cool. Things that you would not expect to see in Topeka, Kansas, or previously you wouldn't have expected it. You know, also the parking lot. I know that, you know, one of the biggest complaints about the facility prior to the renovations was the parking lot and the condition of the parking lot, and the fact there were no lines. It was kind of a free-for-all and where you parked, and so it looks amazing now. I know that when they got that done, Bettis was able to, they did some drone footage of the parking lot. It looked really cool at night, and so I mean it's awesome. I think it's great. I can't wait to see what you got on tap for the next year. And I know, Kellen, you said your part of the program here today was the exciting part, but I just want to know, Zach, your part was exciting too.
Thanks.
Zach, I appreciate you taking us from where we went from to where we're at today in the presentation. A lot of people gloss over the fact that, I mean, there's a bit of rose-colored glasses and reminiscing about what used to be in the Kansas State Free Fair, and the fairgrounds were great with the dirt track. But what we sometimes gloss over is that by the late to mid-'80s, the fairgrounds were just worn out. It was run down. It was a blight on the community. And so when the Shawnee County Commissioners in 1986 undertook a Expo Center, it was a really big thing for our community. And we had, I mean, we were the hot spot for concerts and entertainment for Northeast Kansas for a long time. Commissioner Mays, I'm sure you went to several concerts growing up.
I was at the Kenny Rogers concert that opened the thing. So, yes.
Sold out concert, Kenny Rogers that opened this facility.
But we went for 30 years with really little to no updates. I mean, there was maintenance, but not renovations. And so this was long overdue. And so this gives us a completely new facility to be able to enjoy for another 30 years. And hopefully we are able to do updates along the way and not so long between updates and renovations. But a lot of the things that people had concerns about, the stairs coming in, those stairs were awfully treacherous when it was rainy or snowy. If you were handicapped, not really handicap accessible, or if you were elderly or children, I know a number of times I worried about my own children taking a tumble, and you knew once it started they were probably going to go all the way down. But now we have a safe facility. We have that escalator. It's inside. It's weatherproof. You come in, the seats are better. The parking lot, not having to dodge the potholes in the parking lot. But to look at where we were at to where we're now, really transformational. And I like to also appreciate that you stayed, McCown Gordon, you stayed true to your word, stayed on budget, on time, got us through the facility, so appreciate everything you've done. Thank you, Todd. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Madam Clerk?
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are 5 items on the consent agenda. Is there a motion or questions?
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers totaling $1,753,929.82. Several of those are related to the Stormont-Vail Event Center. One under sales tax to HDK Architects, $37,065.24. That's for renovation, construction, administration. McCown Gordon for $759,075 is for the renovations. Also under SVEC, Stormont-Vail Event Center, programming. For $102,000. Those are deposits for 2 shows that are coming to the event center. Then we go under general expenses to Foley Industries for $31,822.60. That's for the repair of the generator and generator rental during the repairs at the DOC. Also to RSM US LLP totaling $68,250 is for the 2020 audit services. And then to Sound Products, $27,604 is for surveillance equipment at the DOC. I don't have any questions about any of this, and if you don't, I would move for approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0. Our next item.
There are no correction orders today. Item B, Appraiser's Office. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C203-2021 with Geographic Information Services, Inc. to provide support services when needed for highly technical GIS problem solutions and advanced technical expertise at a cost of $3,000 to be paid through the Land Records Committee.
Good morning, Steve Bauman, County Appraiser. This request is for the approval of the contract for the services that's going to support the county's GIS department and all of our needs. The funding has already been approved through Land Records back in March, so we appreciate that part. Our counselor's office has looked this over for form and legality and approved it. And I've got Lee Allen close by in case you have any technical questions.
Any questions regarding these highly technical services?
I have none.
That seems like a bargain.
Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item C, Facilities Maintenance. Number 1, consider approval of request to accept the bid of $10,750 from Samco for the repair and replacement of an evaporator coil on the rooftop AC unit at Maynard Conference Center, with the claim to be turned over to the county's insurance and request to use contingency funds for any amount not covered by insurance.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Randles, Facilities Management. This should be the final repair to Maynard Conference Center after the damage we took in the freeze back in February.
Yeah. Any questions?
Nope, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Our next item.
Item D, Department of Corrections, number 1, consider approval of request to post and fill a vacant custodian position at an annual salary including benefits of $39,694.56.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. With the recent resignation, I'm here before you asking to post and fill a vacant custodian position. This is an existing position that is budgeted, or it is not a new position. This is vital to the organizational safety and security and sanitation. I have met with Angela in HR regarding this matter, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for the director?
Nope, I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Motion for approval by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item E, Audit Finance, number 1, update on revenues and expenses as of April 30, 2021.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here with your April 30th financial overview. And I will remind you that this is a snapshot as of April 30th. And we will look at revenue first. The revenue for the first 4 months of the year totaled $54,976,628. That was $167,000 under budget. But that is 0.15%. So I would say our revenues are right on budget for the first 4 months of the year. That is the total, and we will go through each category because some categories were over, some were under. The first category is property tax revenue. The revenue totaled $48,434,176. That is $486,000 over our expected budget. And if you'll recall that for the year of 2021, we were very conservative in budgeting our property taxes because we did not know how much of an impact the virus would have on our payments, and I believe we were wise to do so. This kind of shows that. This is a very a small percentage compared to the total that we received for that. It's about a half of 1% is the variance. So I think we came out, so far we're looking pretty good in our property tax category. Next category is other tax revenue. We've received $4,049,372. That is $100,000 under budget, and most of that amount is from alcohol tax that is down this year. Now, I do expect that as the year goes on, that number will probably increase because a lot of that decrease has come from per drink taxes, and I think as people are out more, because as the pandemic is winding down, I believe those will come back more towards the end of the year. Next category is charges for services. We received $1,944,008. That is $60,000 over budget as a whole. So right as the category, it's right on budget. But within this category, then that's where you see the variances, because Parks and Rec is under budget by $95,000, but which certainly is not what we were seeing this time last year, so it's much less than that. But then the Register of Deeds is actually $357,000 over budget, because we know how the housing market has been so active. And then DOC is $300,000 under budget, so they are still seeing some of the results of the pandemic. So as a whole, the category is right on budget, but you have to look a little further at the different variances. Then our last category is other revenue. We received $549,072. That is $613,000 under budget. A big part of that is investment income, which we will be hit by that all this year, I'm sure, because our investment income is just down so much, which started with the pandemic. So That kind of ticks it, and then there's other items, just, general items throughout the county that are included in this other revenue. So this pie chart shows that 88% of our revenue has come from property taxes. That percentage will go down a little bit because we get our biggest chunk of property taxes in January, and then the next biggest is in June. Where our expenses are more spread out throughout the year, our revenue is not. So that's why 88% of our property taxes, of our revenue is from property taxes, 7% from other taxes, 4% from charges for services, and 1% for other revenue. Now if we look at the expenditure side, our expenditures and encumbrances through April 30 total $39,218,501. I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. I said the right amount. That is $560,000 over budget. I will go through the categories and kind of explain where those amounts are coming from. The first category is law enforcement, and we have spent $18,551,528. That is $215,000 over budget. That is mostly from the sheriff's office and the DA. As I talked about last month, this month is kind of hard to estimate how our expenditures will fall. Generally, I look at the prior year. This year, I'm looking really more towards 2019 because it was more of a normal year. But still, 2021 isn't completely normal either. Some of this is we're catching up. So some of these are not going to be spread evenly throughout the year as they normally would be. So that is as part of why we are over budget on that category. I will show you, though, on the chart here that we have actually spent $2,509,000 more this year compared to last year. And a lot of that is salary increases that have been given to employees during that period of time that were necessary. The next category is recreation. We spent $6,238,905. That is $516,000 over budget, and mainly from two categories. Parks and Rec is over budget by $148,000, and in looking in that, a lot of that is our contracts that were encumbered early in the year. We had additional contract for landscaping, and then there was another, so contracts that we have entered into that we have encumbered those funds for the rest of the year. So a little bit of a timing difference than we would have seen in the prior year. The other one is the Stormont Vale Event Center. That is over budget by $367,000. That is attributed to the fact that we have prepaid their allocations for the remainder of the quarters throughout the year to give them cash flow, as they have had no cash coming in. Normally, we make their allocations by quarter, and this year we have advanced those other quarters to give them the cash flow they needed. The next category is Public Works. We've spent $3,532,727 from general fund for Public Works, and that is right on budget. Next is Public Health. We spent $3,982,708, and that also is right on budget. Administrative Services, we spent $5,990,403. That is $162,000 under budget, and that's really mainly two categories. One is contingency. I'm showing that we're $117,000 under budget. Now, that doesn't mean that the contingency money is not earmarked, but we have not paid it out. We've not had the invoices come through to actually pay those amounts. So that is, in the actual expenses, it's showing that it's under budget, although most of that has been approved for certain uses. And then also the general expenses was 81,000 under budget. And then our last category is debt service. We've spent $922,230. That is right on budget. It hasn't changed from last month because this is for the interest for the first half of the year. This chart just shows the different categories, and I think this one is a good illustration of how law enforcement is definitely our largest category of expenditures. And then our pie chart that shows law enforcement makes up 47% of our expenditures. Recreation is next with 16%, 9% for public works, 10% for public health. Administrative services is 15%, and debt service is 3%. Any questions?
Questions for Betty regarding the report?
I have none.
Okay, thank you, Betty.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item?
Item F, Stormont Van Event Center. Number 1, consider approval of request for additional operational funding not to exceed $150,000 utilizing the Shawnee County Contingency Funds account.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Spectre Venue Management in the Stormont Vale Event Center. As Betty just alluded to in her financial reports, we have asked for the advancement of our quarter 2 through quarter 4 allocations for our operational funding, and those have been supplied to us. The unfortunate reality that we're dealing with right now is we have cash flow situations that do not allow us to cover operating expenses. As we look at the budget and the budgeted forecast, we're actually sitting very well. The challenge is essentially lying around the ARPA funding that is yet to be released, which would cover the incremental expenditures and/or revenues that we would receive from the vaccination clinic, the mass vaccination clinic, not only the one that we operate in Exhibition Hall, but also the one that was operated by the County Health Department up in Ag Hall from January through April. Now, there are some stipulations within that ARPA funding that looks like the recoveries of some of that money from January and February might not be available, but we do anticipate being able to utilize those ARPA funds for March through the end of those vaccination clinic periods. We also have additional revenues that are due to be coming in next month. This request is specifically just to cover us in the interim period when those ARPA funds are released to us and or when we have those additional revenues that are coming in June and July to come in and help stabilize those accounts.
Kellen, so this really becomes a cash flow issue for Spectra.
Correct. Yeah, we are actually forecasting and budgeting that we'll be ahead of budget by about $200,000, give or take, at the end of the year, based on the revenues that we have coming in and booked for the rest of the year, as well as the anticipated revenues from upcoming events and so on and so forth. So financially, we're sitting in a good position. It's just currently, from a cash flow standpoint, we're not sitting in a good position.
Betty, if we could just touch on briefly the contingency funds.
Yes. For the year of 2021, we have budgeted $500,000 for contingency funds. Right now, we have, after the items that have been approved for you, and then 2 other items that I know will be coming to you that, well, just one more that I know will be coming. We have $194,434 remaining in contingencies for this year.
So that will then,
That would take us down to $44,000 for
And-
the remainder of the year.
we've not made it through half the year.
Correct.
So what happens when our contingency funds are gone and something unexpected happens that would fall under contingency?
Well, then we have to look at what other sources we have. We do have money that we allocate in our general expenses. That category or that division, we budget a miscellaneous category for that we could look to that. We also look at, now also, the amounts that are approved in this contingency fund. Okay, say, let me give you an example. someone may come and ask for $50,000, maybe their project or their repair comes in at $42,000. Well, that additional, a remaining amount then goes back into that contingency fund to be used for something else. So we may have some items like that. We've already had, the boiler that we had, I believe that was at DOC, was that? Came in 8,000 under what they had expected. So that will go in there to replenish it some. We also have money in capital outlay fund that, should an emergency arise, it is there for that purpose also.
In years past, we've looked at excess reserves, and we set limits on our reserves, looking at a healthy area, excess. In the past, we've used that for Parks and Recreation, also for the Stormont Vale Event Center.
Right.
Do we know if we're going to be looking at any excess reserves that we might be able to tap into if we've expended the contingency, expended the miscellaneous, expended the capital outlay?
Well, I have looked at the 2020 as of the end of the year of 2020, and we have 228,000 that would be excess over our goal. We have a goal of having 25% in our reserves for any emergency like a natural disaster, pandemic, anything like that comes up. And that is within the recommendation of the all the GFO is, which is one I look at, which is Government Finance Officers Association. It is within their guidelines. It's within GASB's recommendations of 25%. So we have 228,000 right now over our goal of 25%.
So while this expenditure, if approved, will take our contingency budget almost down to zero, we should not be waving the red flag yet, but definitely waving the caution.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Questions?
Yeah, just for clarification, so this isn't an advance payment, this is an additional payment?
Yes.
Okay.
Other questions? I'll move for approval, but noting that we are definitely needing to look at the caution flag as it relates to unexpected expenditures throughout the end of the year. And hopefully, the Stormont Vale Event Center will be able to be on top by the end of the year with excess revenue. So, motion made by Commissioner Cook. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item G, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to submit an application for the competitive development grant from the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism Community Fisheries Assistance Program to assist with the funding for a Fool's Landing boat ramp access improvement project at an estimated cost of $86,932, with a minimum commitment of $46,932 available from the Building Maintenance Fund, along with the $40,000 SFAP request.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Hammer, Parks and Recreation. This is a grant opportunity through Kansas Wildlife and Parks Community Fisheries Assistance Program to make improvements to our Fool's Landing River Access Park on Northeast Seward. This will improve the use of the park and security and all sorts of things. So I had actually gotten a call from John Ranke with Wildlife and Parks, asked us if we'd be interested in applying for this grant, and so he supports all these improvements that we plan to make. And I could answer any questions.
Tom, I was not really familiar with this project prior to seeing it on the agenda, and I understand this kind of came about rather quickly from the Kansas Department of Wildlife. Is that?
Yes, it's something that we've discussed with them over the years on doing, and there's been people changing over their jobs and such, and we've just kind of lost track of it. But John's been good about pushing on improving river access in general, and it seemed like a good opportunity to get a little bit of money out of them. So.
Okay, so for those that are trying to figure out where the Fool's Landing is at, this is east of the Oakland Expressway, and so it would be,
4400, I believe, is the address.
yeah,
Seward, yep.
and so it is east of Topeka by just a little bit.
Yes, probably a mile or two, maybe east of Proco, I believe. Yeah, it's not a highly publicized park, I guess, and it would be nice to change that.
So as people use the kayaking services more frequently with the ribbon cutting at the weir that we did a couple of weeks ago, people would be able to port on from the weir and load off at that park?
Yes, that's correct. That happens pretty often now. You'll see lots of kayakers down there, but it would, I know they would appreciate it more if it was a little more maintained park, I guess. So, yeah, that would be, it would really help to have a better flow, so to speak, with boat ramps there here in Topeka.
Okay. Other questions for Tom? Commissioner Rippon?
Yes. Tom, could you go over some of the improvements you'd want to make?
Yes, we would like, first, one of the things I would love to do there is to fix, yeah, you might try that.
For you. Yeah, pictures.
Yeah, there you go. Why don't you show me where it is? One of the main things I'd like to do is to fix up the parking lot and drive with the new asphalt overlay. We've worked with Evergy last year to improve lighting there, but I think that could be improved a little bit more. Signage out front obviously is going to be pretty important.
Is the ramp still in pretty good shape? And
yeah, the ramp is the part that's okay, and that's actually the part, from what I understand, is owned by Wildlife and Parks. So if something had to be done with that, I assume that would be them dealing with it. Here's a picture looking kind of from the street, looking north towards the river. So that parking lot and drive is in pretty bad shape, and not really any signage to speak of. Here's a picture looking down the ramp towards the river. We would, to the right there, we would fix up some grade work and drainage there before the asphalt were to go in. To the left is it's probably some fairly usable park space if we were to clean it up and change the grade on it, get rid of some trees there. Maybe we've discussed open air shelter and obviously trash cans, things like that. Wildlife and Parks has said that they would add a signage, a kiosk signage that would fit in with the other boat ramps along the river. But they kind of were waiting on us to, I think they would like these improvements made first. So this would, again, would be nice to, here's one more picture looking back towards the road, back towards Seward. All of these, another thing we had discussed, and I kind of checked with Wildlife and Parks on this, is a security gate and an electronic gate up by the street. I think that would improve things quite a bit, and they didn't seem to have a problem with enforcing park hours, basically, there. So that's something I think would help us out quite a bit.
Tom, this is a pretty secluded area, and I know that a lot of times law enforcement has issues with people that are maybe doing things they shouldn't be down there, or discarding stolen items, including vehicles down at that location.
Yeah.
And also just dumping trash there.
Yes, that happens fairly often. I didn't really want to bring too much of that up, but
you're
right.
But this is why we would be putting in those
Yeah.
security gates.
Yeah,
I guess
I was looking at Cartograph yesterday, trying to get an idea on how much we've spent there on our time, and the majority of it, I didn't print anything off. The majority of it was various tasks on picking up trash or cleaning up dump sites. So it's a fair amount of money is spent there every year just cleaning up after people. So.
I think that's, and again, if we talk about why are we putting in security gates or why are we putting in an electronic fence, that would be a good reason why.
Yes.
Tom, is this a time-sensitive grant? I mean, do we have to have it in by a certain date, or?
Well, it's due on Probably Monday.
Okay.
Tuesday, June 1st. They would give us an extension if they knew, and they know we're working on it, but it's pretty well all ready to turn in, so we would be sending it today or tomorrow, I imagine.
So Commissioner Rippon, I guess the answer is yes.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Well, I'm just out of curiosity, Tom, I don't know if you know the answer, but maybe somebody else does. Why is it called Fool's Landing?
That's from Chief Fool. He was, he had a Indian village here north of town just a little bit, but he was along the Kansas River at times, I know that, but.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll move for approval of the request to fill out the grant application.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item G2, consider approval of request to submit an application for the Competitive Development Grant from the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism Community Fisheries Assistance Program to assist with the funding for a Horseshoe Bend Park Water Quality Improvement Project at an estimated cost of $105,730, with a minimum commitment of 62% coming from the Building Maintenance Fund, Parkland Acquisition Development and Development Fund, and the Park Operations Division budget, along with the CFAP request capped at $40,000.
Morning, Commissioners. Tom Hammer, Parks and Rec. This is another Community Fisheries Assistance Program grant for Horseshoe Bend Park, which is just fairly near to Topeka Boulevard and southwest 45th Street. Too far. This is a pond that we kind of inherited in this park some years ago, and we were always afraid that it would need some help eventually, and now we're getting to a point where we're having some bank erosion, and it would be good to catch this now and get it fixed up. So this grant is, we have a lot of support again from Wildlife and Parks on this grant as well.
Questions?
No.
Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second then.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to address the commission on any item, and I see Emergency Management quickly going to the podium.
So, good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Director of Emergency Management. Just kind of give you an update. We made it out pretty good last night. The ground is pretty saturated. The flash flood warning ended about 10 o'clock, so just a few minutes ago. Not anticipating anything severe today. There is a possibility, but I think we're going to make clear by 2 o'clock or so. Next couple of days look pretty nice, so if you have something planned for the weekend, I know there's some stuff going on in Noto, some events, so get out and enjoy those. It looks like it's going to be pretty decent. Take a minute, check your gutters and drains, because we had a pretty good gutter washer, so make sure you're not plugged up. Because it looks like we're back in the storm mode on Sunday afternoon, maybe Sunday evening. Monday's a little too far out, but if you have plans, be ready to adjust potential on Monday as well. But that's all I got. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Dusty.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. I'd like to remind everybody that with Monday being the federal holiday, our offices will be closed and we will not be picking up any refuse or recycling service on Monday. We'll resume our Monday route on Tuesday, and then Wednesday will be our double day, which we're picking up Tuesday and Wednesday customers, and Thursday and Friday will be the same. Would like to remind everybody that we do offer a free text reminder for, it's called Recycle Coach, for our service. So if you just go to our Shawnee County Solid Waste page, our main page, ignore that angry looking guy over there on the right, but it's just right there. It says Recycle Coach. It says click here to set up reminders, and it's very easy. Set up your address and your telephone number, and you can get a free text message. I'd say it's accurate 99% of the time. Yeah. It helps me out Wednesday night when I have to put my trash out. And if you do not want to sign up for a text message, all you got to do is go over there on the left-hand side. right there where it says holiday pickup calendar, and it opens up into an easy-to-read PDF version that it shows the entire year of holidays and the pickup schedule. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I would echo that with the text messages. It saved me quite a few times.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. I just want to remind everyone that Shawnee County is hiring, not just for Parks and Rec and lifeguards, which we know we need, but we also need solid waste drivers. We need some seasonal shelter cleaning crews, as well as some road maintenance positions. You can see all of our listings at www.snco.oasis for a full listing of our jobs.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Any other public comments or administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Mays?
Nothing for me, other than just had a great time at the ribbon cutting yesterday at Adventure Cove. A lot of fun.
Yeah. Commissioner Rippon?
It was a good event, and the kids looked like they were having a good time out there, our lifeguards. It looked challenging. It looked like, yeah.
It did, yeah.
It did.
You know, Commissioner Rippon, I gotta thank you.
Yeah.
You know, it usually takes, a mark of a true friend and a public servant who's always mindful, picking up after commissioners when they drop their laundry along the way. And so, Commissioner Rippon, I am so happy now that we've had this rain and the lake's full. I've got my swim trunks ready to go, and I know they're mine. Thank you for picking them up for me. I don't know where I'd be without my commissioners.
I do what I can.
Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need today. We are adjourned. Thank you. Have a safe Memorial Day.
Are you gonna wear those out? I hope they fit. I hope they do.
I think 2 of me might fit in these.